Hi guys. So this is not a video for any other purpose than to give you an update on everything that's going on personally. Let me preface this by saying this is not for views. This is not for any sort of clout. This is purely because I've been asked a lot of questions and I've been asked a lot of times and repeating myself of what's been going on. And I thought this might be an easier way to sort of address everything, and also to address people on YouTube because I've spoken about a lot on Twitch but not on YouTube. So obviously I'm still in Norway, and I'm here for the foreseeable future. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background. And so I want to try and answer some questions very briefly and give you guys an insight on what's actually happening. So firstly, Dani and I are fine. We've been able to work past the situation that sparked the initial problem. And so we're fine. We speak every day via DMs, occasionally via VC. There's reasons why we can't speak every day via VC that I'll get into shortly. And this is incredibly difficult to talk about as well. So if I get a bit emotional as well, forgive me for that. But it's kind of our whole lives were turned upside down about a month ago. So after we had our little moment and that, a family member, his mother, decided to take advantage of the situation between myself and Dani, and tried to drive a wedge between us, basically. And in doing so, threw me out of my ass, putting it bluntly. She kicked me out of the apartment. She owns the apartment, and so I didn't have a choice but to leave. And scary situation because other than Dani's family, which at that point I didn't know who was still in favour of me or not, and it was all fine, I had to make some emergency arrangements to get out. And so I packed as much as I could, hence why I've been able to still stream and content create and that as much as I can, because I managed to bring my PC with me, which was an ordeal, but I managed to bring that with me. And I had options. I could have gone home to Australia, but at the time I was like, there's still some stuff that needs to be resolved here, and being on the other side of the world is not going to help that. The other option was to go to Norway. Obviously, for those of you who know, Pedal, my other partner, Pedal lives in Norway, and I've been here before, and it felt more comfortable. I had offers from others, and I appreciate that, and they know who they are, and they know how much that meant to me. But it seemed the most logical place because I'd been here before, so I came to Norway. Now, as someone with a permit to live in the Netherlands, I have the ability to just come here. So that was easy enough. But I can only stay here for 90 days at a time. So we are on a bit of a time frame, but we've still got time up our sleeve. So in the initial days, Dani and I were able to talk and resolve our issues. Some horrible things have been said and done by his mother, both to myself and Dani. Dani is not in a comfortable place at the moment. But at the time, Dani couldn't come with me for a number of reasons, including the fact that he was still recovering from his broken leg. He couldn't walk properly. He was still on crutches and was still, for the most part, semi-dependent on help. And that was one of the hardest things to do, was to leave him in a situation where it was out of my control and he was still recovering. So he's now recovered. He's actually been given the all clear by his doctor that his leg is healing really nicely. He's able to be a lot more active. He actually went to soccer, not to play, but to watch, as of recording this yesterday. So he's been able to at least get that sort of stuff sorted. So he's a bit more physically able to do stuff. Dani and I want to get back together. Dani and I, if his mother hadn't stepped in, it wouldn't have been an issue. But she took advantage and has tried to take control of his life now. And he's had to toe the line, obviously, because he's been recovering. But in the background, he's been looking for somewhere to live. That's difficult at the moment, simply because the housing market is incredibly demanding. So the plan is at the moment that he's looking for somewhere to live so that I can come back, because I can't come back. There's nowhere for me to live, and she's burnt that bridge with me, and she's burnt that bridge with her son. Dani is just biding his time until he can get out, and that's a lot on his plate and a lot mentally on his plate. But yes, so that's the plan. So we've been applying for tons and tons and tons of houses and apartments and that, and not getting anywhere, but we're not giving up. Now, if the 90 days expire, I have a few options, which I won't detail at this point, but one of them would potentially mean going back to Australia until something's resolved, which is expensive. The other weird thing is that if we find an apartment and we get approved for an apartment, Dani and I are starting from scratch. Basically, there's going to be very little that we can take or that he can take with him that he actually owns, unfortunately. And so we would be starting from scratch. We'd have to buy even just simple things like a bed and you know, furniture to live with. Not even expensive stuff, just stuff to live with, somewhere to sleep, somewhere to cook, etc. So that's costly as well. Now, I just want to talk about the fact that people have already donated money to me, and the original donation was towards me going home to Australia. And at the time, that was my solution. But as I've said, I don't think it's wise for me to go home when Dani and I can resolve things and we're happy and we've been talking and I still love him dearly and I don't want to leave him. Do I plan on going to Australia at some point soon? Yes, but that is not on the high priority. There's Petal.
What are you doing?
What am I doing?
Yes.
I'm not live. I'm recording a video.
Okay.
It's fine. Petal's here. Just a side note, whilst Petal's standing there. You don't know how eternally grateful I am to this one critter here.
I'm a critter now.
Yep, you're a critter. You're going with a critter.
I can live with that.
Him and his mother have been so good to me since I've been here and have given me a roof and put food on the table to make sure that I'm okay and provided for me whilst I'm trying to sort out my life. And I can't thank them enough. I'm not going to get too much into that, otherwise I'll start crying. But yes, they have been fantastic, and I love them dearly, and they've been amazing. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So basically, the plan moving forward is to save as much money as possible, so that if both scenarios were to happen, either I have to go back to Australia, or we find an apartment and I have to help move, then we've got the money to work with. Do I expect everyone to donate? God, no. Do I expect everyone to be able to financially support? No. I appreciate even the people who've reached out and gone, are you okay? Do you need to talk? You know, and if I haven't responded to you straight away or at all, because my memory is like a sieve at the moment, I apologize, but I do appreciate it, and I want to make that really clear that I appreciate this. I don't want to keep putting these kind of videos out and that, but I haven't put a video out that people can just watch and get a clear picture. It's been like a stream VOD or something else. I wanted to make this a dedicated video to answer some of the other questions. Now, Dani has had some other good news. Dani's contract has been renewed at his job and he's got work until June next year. So that is a positive. He's also putting money aside, but he's also got his bills and things he has to pay, as do I. The bulk of the money that has been donated to me is still in my hand, basically. It's in a separate account, in my savings account. It's put to one side so that it doesn't get spent. It's there. As much as I can save is what I need to do. It could be thousands of euros in costs by the time we have to move or go home to Australia or whatever. I'm going to be doing a lot of streaming as much as I can. And, you know, that was the other question is people's like, I've had some people say, how are you still content creating? I brought my PC with me, as I said. It's been difficult. Some of the shiny reactions are actually like months ago because I had such a backlog, and it was a hard decision to be able to record things like journeys and that on my own because that's been such a me and Dani thing. But, you know, we've had to move forward with that, and I appreciate everyone who still supported that content even though it hasn't had Dani in it. It's been tough. I don't know what the future movement's going to be, and that's the really difficult thing about all of this. I have rights as a resident permit holding person in the Netherlands, but there's still tricky things involved in that. Now, the other question that was fielded to me is, why can't Dani come to Norway? It's complicated. It's costly. The reason why it's costly is you've got to have X amount of dollars in your account if you haven't already got work here, and we don't have that. You know, it's like any immigration process. There's always they need to make sure that you're not going to be an initial burden on the taxpayer, basically. the easiest option is for me to go back, and I'm happy with that. That's fine, and Petal knows that that's happening, and we've got things that could be in the works long term. But the most important thing to realize is that at the end of the day, I'm safe, and every day can be a bit of a challenge. But I'm safe and I'm here and I've got a roof over my head. Dani is safe in that he's got a roof over his head and that, but his long term mental health and physical health is not going to be good if he continues to live with his mother. And that's not even my decision. I am not influencing that. That is 100% his decision. I support whatever he wants to do, but he wants to get out of there and have his own independence. And I want to be part of that process and I want to be part of his life. So it's something that we need to work towards. Um, Content will continue to come out, streams will continue to happen. If they get cancelled, I'm putting schedules out and that, and occasionally I'm like, I can't mentally do it. I might look happy on camera sometimes, and so I'm genuinely, what you see on camera is me, but in my mind and in my body, I'm still struggling with everything, and some days are harder than others. So the patience that people have given me has been incredibly appreciated, and I can't give you a definitive answer on what my plans are. I just can't. It's not feasible. But I wanted you guys to know that I appreciate the fact that people are trying to send me home, and that still could be on the cards. But there is a chance here that I could be going back to Dani, which is what I want more than anything else. And if it means that we've got to save money and put it aside so that we can actually set up even a basic living space so that we can get him out of that toxic environment and get us back together and get our lives back on track and get back to Luna as well, who is another factor in all of this, because Luna has been anxiety. For those who don't know who Luna is our dog that we adopted not that long ago. Her anxiety has been through the roof because his mother doesn't treat her properly. I'm not saying she's 100% mistreating her, but she doesn't know how to look after this dog. And Dani is she's getting mixed signals is basically what's happening, and anytime his mum's around, she's anxiety ridden, and so we need to get her out of there with Dani, because she's also suffering. And Dani and I made a commitment to Luna as an adopted dog, and I want to continue to fulfill that commitment to her, and I love her dearly. I miss her. But yes, there's a long list of people I could thank outside of obviously Petal. Anyone who has donated anything, you don't know how much that's meant to me and has helped immensely, and I appreciate that. I really do. I've tried to field as much questions and give you as much update as I can, but every day something's changed, or every day something's different, whether it's my mental health or there's something happening in the background and everything else. But yeah, the other thing I want to preface is that as his dad's side of the family, 100% have been amazing towards me and have been really good, and they're looking forward to if I can come back and all the rest of it. They've been fantastic. I don't know about his mum, and I don't want to know about his mum. And that might sound harsh, but I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of what she did, but she crossed so many boundaries with me to the point that I can't deal with her. And that's just how it's going to be, and Dani's aware of that. I can't. So, Anyway, I'm rambling. If you have watched all this, thank you. It's not about views. It's not about clout. It's not about sympathy. It's more so I want to be transparent. And I've had a lot of feedback from a lot of my friends and viewers and people saying that they appreciate that they've been kept up to date, because they genuinely care. And those people who genuinely care mean the world to me. Ways you can support if you want to. Just hang out and chat for starters. Like, if you want to hang out, come hang out, or watch videos or whatever. You don't have to do anything financially. If you want to financially support, all the links will be in my description below. You can donate, you can sub to my Twitch channel, you can buy merch, you can support my Patreon, you can do a cartwheel. I don't know what that would do for me, but, entertainment value. And, I will keep you up to date, especially if something major happens, but I wanted to field these questions because I'm getting asked a lot, and I figured one singular source where you can all go and watch and understand what's actually going on, rather than me sort of filter out rambling bits and repeat myself, was a better way to put this out, especially now that some time has elapsed since the initial sudden change in my life. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you if you've watched this, and yeah, just be part of the community. That's all I really want in the grand scheme of things. Just enjoy what I can put out, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.